During 1860s, abortion was completely banned in Canada. Women who performed illegal abortions were taken to jail for lifetime. However, that didn't mean it was going to stop. Women were still performing abortions illegally under the fear of getting caught. Rich women who had the money who wanted abortions would go to physicians, but poor women, they had to perform abortions themselves or go to someone else who would perform it for her. Many women lost their lives because of illegal abortions that wasn't very safe. Time had passed. In 1960, Morton Shulman, a Canadian politician and a coroner, legalized abortion to only save the mother's life. This meant that women could have an abortion if she was raped or her life was in danger. However, this required the signatures of 3 different doctors because they were the ones to decide if the woman's life was actually in danger. Henry Morgentaler, a physician, opened a clinic in Montreal. He started receiving many phone calls from women who wanted a safe abortion. Many people started protesting outside his clinic, saying abortion is a crime and it should be banned. However, he kept fighting for women's right to abortion. He made many abortion clinics in Canada, but in 1988, the Supreme Court struck down the abortion law because it was violating the law under Section 7, which states that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and the security of a person. And later that spring in 1988, new law about abortion was being made by the government of Canada because the government was pressured to legalize abortion by medical and legal associates, women, and social justice groups. Morgentaler had fought for women's rights to abortion. He had been prosecuted many times for performing abortions. Ed Broadbent, an NDF leader from 1975 to 1989, said that abortion was a medical matter and not a criminal matter. Therefore, it should be decided by the woman and the doctor on whether or not she should receive an abortion. This was the year when abortion was completely legal in Canada, 1989. Women in Ontario had the right to vote in municipal elections in 1884. Women in Manitoba, 1916. However, women weren't allowed to vote in national elections in 1917. In 1917, Canada's federal electoral law stated that idiots, madmen, criminals, and judges were not allowed to vote. Even though it didn't mention women, they were still not allowed to vote in national elections. Robert Borden, the Prime Minister of Canada from 1911 to 1920, desperately wanted more votes to win the federal elections, which was coming up in the fall of 1917. On September 20, the Wartime Elections Act was passed by the Conservative government of Robert Borden. The act gave the right to vote for the wives, widows, mothers, and sisters of soldiers serving overseas for the First World War. On December 17, about 500,000 women voted in the federal elections for the very first time. Robert Borden won the election because he received the most votes. In 1918, Canadian women that were 21 and over could vote because Robert Borden said that they would exert a good influence on public life. However, it wasn't until 1960 when all Canadian women could vote, including Chinese women, Indian women, and Japanese women. It's an extremely sad thing that women didn't get the right to vote until 1960, which is just over 50 years ago.